Welcome everyone to the Walk with Faith podcast. We have beautiful, wonderful Carol Garcia joining us today. Oh my gosh, look at that smile. Hi, Carol.
Hi, Molly. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm thrilled. I'm so happy to be here with you.
Yeah, you're
I'm
like
really am on
glowing.
fire.
Yeah, you're glowing. So, Carol, I want to start by you sharing a little bit about who you are, right? You have a YouTube channel.
That's right. My name is Carol Lisette, and I have a YouTube channel where I make manifestation activation tarot videos, where first I go through and I do a chakra cleanse of negative thoughts and beliefs. One of my biggest things is cult, limiting beliefs. I am a firm believer that we should have free will to express ourselves. I'm big on art. I'm big on possibilities are endless. And through all of my life, I've been very, very spiritual, but just recently, about 3 years ago, it was put on my heart many years ago to start a YouTube channel, but I had to do a lot of cleaning up, a lot of cleaning of my bad habits and old ways.
Right.
But about 2.5, 3 years ago, a good friend of mine introduced me to this electromagnetic cleansing way. I use muscle testing, I use magnets, and I go into the chakra system of my viewers as a collective, wherever that zodiac sign sits in their birth chart. And I clear out the negative beliefs that may be there, and I activate and reactivate
Wow.
the positive beliefs in place of what I release there. And I do it intentionally. Then I record a video that goes along with that cleansing, and I invite everybody in for the greatest good of everyone involved is very important with our energy work. Molly, you know it, right?
Of
Yeah.
course.
I love how you teach about that, and it makes
Thank
me,
you.
I love you, Molly. I fell
I
in love
love
with
you
you. Did you
too.
know that?
I love
I
you
just
too.
love it because
Thank
you're
you.
an Espiritista, and I could just feel that right away. And so I just feel this kindred, wonderful feeling with you.
Thank you.
So, well, I wanted to talk about it, and I make these videos with frequency activation. I use sacred geometry. I pull out the activations and I show the sacred geometry. I show the colors, and I use a spread based on the seven hermetic principles of manifestation. And then I use Rider-Waite-Smith cards, and then I channel with all things
Amazing.
intuitive cards. You use those. You use one of them, Hidden Truths.
Uh-huh.
So that's all things intuitive. And then as the video's uploading, I activate the frequencies for my viewer. So it's this huge ride, and I perform a cleansing, and I put together all these different. I just channeled that and downloaded it because I'm so specific, and I have a lot of worries, and I needed a framework to be able to open myself up and feel safe enough to channel. And that's what I came up with. And so that's what I offer on my channel. And sometimes I do vlogs too. So
I
for
love
asking.
that. That's powerful. And that's so healing. So your viewers know what they're coming into. They know that they're going to get an energetic cleanse to remove things that could be blocking them from forward movement and positive progression, that you're assisting with that. And you put a lot of like a lot of, yeah, intention behind what you're doing. This is all divinely guided. You're helping people dramatically. That's awesome.
Thank you.
You're
I
welcome.
had such a challenging life, and I have healed myself. I've healed myself, Molly. I had to go through chemotherapy, for instance, and surgeries. But
Wow.
even before that, I'm a domestic abuse, sexual abuse, neglect survivor. I was programmed. I was 12 and my daughter's father was 18. He was 5 years older than me. He brainwashed me, cheated on me, beat me. I got out of that. I got out of that was when I was 12. I had to I was
Wow.
with him for so
You're a
long that I was
baby.
programmed. you know. And so I dealt with that, and I have also overcome programming occult, really controlling systems like the Catholic Church I was raised in, and you have to have certain sacraments, and there's like the system that it's like a very clicky thing. And then I have another side of my family that they're Jehovah Witness, and then you have to follow then their cult rules, and that has affected me in so many ways negatively growing up, and always just looking for somewhere to fit in, and finally finding my own freedom and my own truth, and what, because you get so scared when you face these darknesses, and I had to always just pray to God, Molly, every moment, every
Yeah.
moment. And then what does he do? He shows us all the places where we're wrong.
That we need to deprogram, I guess, and remember who we truly are, remove all those things, right?
Yes, you got it.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I do. I do it for my viewers. So then, we get to enjoy my favorite art, which is tarot reading. And I'm a big channel. I love opening up and connecting. I mean,
Yeah.
as an Espiritista, we have something, right, that we practice, Misa Blanca, or a Misa, a table, like white table. That's what it's called, right? And we
Yeah,
get together
Mises.
as channels, and we practice sharing that vulnerability, and it's a practice. My godmother brought me in my 20s when I was trying to overcome addiction and all these other things, and these women, they just ushered me in and gave me these guidelines, nothing saying, always God first, and that's it.
Always God first. Always God first.
And they taught me, and that's how I recognize that's how I recognize you as part of my tribe. So,
Oh, thank you. Did you
yeah.
ever, I have a couple questions. So in one of your misas, did you ever find out, or any other time, did you ever find out who your main spirit guide was?
Well, my gypsy came out.
Yeah,
My
I was gonna
gypsy
say
is the one who came out.
I'm looking at you. Yeah.
My
Yeah.
gypsy came out, but I also have a Congo. I have an African
Mm-hmm.
spirit protecting me. He's very, very protective. So I got a bunch of warriors around me, and
Yeah.
I had
Yeah.
to learn that to let them be the warriors so I could
Right.
be childlike and create. Finally found my way here to the kingdom of
That's right.
heaven, walking with faith.
No, that's so true because that's what God has done is he sends an army of your angels, your guides, your ancestors, everybody to protect you so that way you can get in touch with that childlike self of yours. So yeah, and that divine feminine energy of creation.
Yeah, girl.
Of
Yeah.
creation. And joy and happiness. That's right.
Yeah, I love
Because we
it.
don't fight because it really is spiritual. We don't need to fight in the physical. That's why you have your team. I love that. Yeah. I have a nun. One of mine is a nun. I
No
have
way.
I do. I have a Siberian knight who's very protective.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he has like a big sword, like the curved swords. So yeah,
Oh, I think it's called a sickle. Is it
is
called a
it?
sickle?
I don't
I'm not
know.
sure. Those are cool. Ooh, he's
Yeah. So he's very protective. Yeah. So we have not to mention like the ancestors that come through, but they're all family. I think it's beautiful. And a lot of people, Carol, are actually learning about this. I just talked to someone yesterday who took a month to sleep on the beach and made a choice to connect with Mother Earth and the ocean and everything for spiritual ascension, for progress,
Mhm.
not living indoors. And what was so interesting on this journey is this person was they're very big on like manifesting with universal knowledge or the universe, but they were never tapped in to seeing their angels, their guides, their ancestors, or any of that. And this person said what was so eye-opening during this month was he was able to see the whole team that was around him. he was like, I didn't even realize we literally have like our angels, we have our ancestors, we have our guides. He's like, this was so mind-blowing for this
Mm.
person. And I go, yeah, exactly. I mean, isn't that amazing?
I
Because,
think it's, oh, I'm sorry, I have to put my computer in here. It needs charging.
yeah, go
So,
ahead.
okay, that's amazing.
It is amazing. Yeah, it was so beautiful.
It had to be life-changing, but what a choice. What a decision to make to be on the beach by the saltwater and the sand. Like that's rough living.
It
You
is.
really need to be always connected to source, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Right? You would
So
have to, that's amazing and it's beautiful. And there have been times, right? I think there have been times in my life too, where maybe I didn't see, I don't always have the vision to see a bunch of ghosts in the room. But you can literally feel them. And I also, through this, the spiritism, have learned to create my environment as well. And to be a reminder, like all the time, to be doing my spiritual cleansing and have like my masks up here. They represent my, they're my little things, my treasures, like how you
right,
have there too, how you have your setup. And those things connect us, they connect us to our guides and
they
everything.
do.
So
And what's so interesting about paths too for people is like there's different purposes for all your spiritual items that you have, that call to you, that were divinely guided to you on your journey, which is so beautiful. I'm noticing like your eye that you have back there. I'm noticing your beautiful mask that you have. You just said that you did
And there's
this.
a story behind each one of those things. There's a
Yeah.
story behind each one of
And
them.
they touch your soul.
I've
Yeah.
got some of those masks at estate sales. My daughter's aunt, my ex-sister-in-law, I was never married, but she painted this.
It's
And I
beautiful.
bought it from her on her website. So I bought this like at different times in my life when I was facing different journeys. And, even like those, can you see those two masks at the top?
I
One of
can.
them I got it from as a gift from somebody in Illinois, and the other I got when I got to Texas 3 years later at an estate sale in their repair. They belong together. They're the
Oh,
exact
wow.
matches. So
Whoa. And you got them at a different time, but they're
exactly.
match. That's
So and it's like then it came together to be the whole 13 masks there. So it's just like spirit has been bringing everything together for me for so long to be sitting in a place where I can share my story and share my loving light without shame. That's a big
thank
thing that I
you.
do too. These limiting beliefs and the programming is in the media. It's given to us by our parents,
By
even it's
society. Yeah.
by society. We become an amalgamation of the 5 people that we spend the most time with, right? In the physical. So whatever's going on with them spiritually, that's gonna show up, in our aura. And so there's constant praying and there's constant necessity to be always trying to face any resistance between us and our family members and that, and guiding and coaching one another through those dark nights, through those fears, praying through those
Prayer
times.
is huge.
And oh my gosh, I sometimes don't know the next thing to do. I
Yeah.
just don't know the next right thing to do, even,
That's why prayer is so significant. It's
you know,
massive. Yeah.
yeah. And so, even with the prayer and even with healing and going through so many years of revision work and reprogramming, psycho-cybernetics I have gone through, I went to school to become a nurse. And so I actually was going through chemo. I was working 2 jobs as a single mom, part-time jobs in a small town, but wonderful people took me under their wing, business
Right.
owners, and I could do some of my studying while I was going through chemo and work at my son's daycare. And I wanted to become a nurse. It was on my heart. I was a healer. I was a healer. I was a healer. Uh, Single mom the whole time. My daughter was amazing. She's only 16 years younger than me. So, and she's now grown up in the military. I come from
Wow.
Thank you very much. Actually, I have my first grandson. I have a grandson, and she's actually two grandsons. So,
Oh my gosh, are you serious? Congratulations.
yeah,
What a
she's
beautiful
got,
blessing.
he's 6 months old. His name
Oh
is
my
Jacoby,
God.
and now she's got a stepson too. So he's my grandson, Kai. Love them, and my son-in-law,
That's
D. I
awesome.
have like
Oh my God.
my family's expanded, and
That's
I'm
beautiful.
only 39. I've got a
Wow.
12-year-old son. And so I was doing all this as my children were going through school and, high school, adolescence, balancing home and school and
Wow.
health, and also being in a village of people who were coming together to support and help me. I love you guys in Harvard, Illinois. I love you guys. If you guys watch us, I love you. And but I got into George Williams College. It was my first day there. Pathophysiology, my first class. And girl, what were they talking about, Molly? They were talking about cancer.
Wow.
And it was like on the screen, and I'm in this brand new, beautiful campus, only 30-minute drive from where I was living at the time. It was perfect. I got accepted into nursing school after everything. I was cancer free. And I had my first complex PTSD attack there, and I could not go back. Spirit, God put it on my heart. I couldn't go back after everything, after
Yeah.
beating cancer, and that was my motivation because I was going to chemo by myself. 5 hours a day, I was taking a public bus. I couldn't drive, and my baby was in school. She was too young to go to chemo with me, you know what I mean? And family lived far away in Chicago. And so I fought, and the whole village came together. They saw me going to school to become a nurse, but my first day, Spirit put in my heart, no, you can't. And so I started staying home. COVID started, and it was put on my heart to start doing tarot. And actually, when I was going through chemo, I had just did my ceremony to be crowned a priestess of Obatala. So in my mother's Oshun, as you know, right? Ma perre fon laosha. So, and I love you, ma perre fon elegua, ma perre. I'm so happy to be here. We're so happy, all of us, to be here, Molly. God bless you.
Oh, God bless you too, my love.
And
Bless
so,
you
it was
too.
just put on my heart to do YouTube videos. And at that time, I was like way too shy. I didn't know what to do. I started doing Facebook Lives and just taking people's questions, and I was so particular. It had to be in order, and I didn't want to lose anybody's place in line. So I would recruit my sister and my daughter, and they would get everybody's questions from the comments in order. And I would sit there online on free, and I would just go through, and I would get cards for everybody. And that's how I practiced, because I didn't feel like I was going to be good enough, but that was limiting beliefs. I didn't feel like I was going to be good enough
Exactly.
to go in front of the camera on YouTube back then. And now it's taken me 8, 9 years now to finally start this YouTube channel after learning how to get rid of all these limiting beliefs and
Right.
going through different spiritual circles and seeing how some people are dangerous, and we need to be always cleaning our space. Always listen to Molly. Let me
Thank
tell
you.
you, if you're watching Crossroads Meets the Ocean Rose, and Molly's talking to you about spiritual cleansing, listen to her. She's right. I 100%. I love that you do that
Thank you.
because we just need to be staying connected to God, right?
Always. Number one, stay close
Ooh.
to God. Always. Number one, prayer. I'm going to tell you right now, there were some of the most, I went through some of the darkest days, darkest, and I cried and begged for his help. He Oh, I'm getting goosebumps. He will literally, he hears it. He hears it and he will send your spiritual army and team. Doesn't mean that we are not going to go through challenges. We are. But it's that prayer to the Most High God, and then the blessings that he sends in for the assistance is acknowledging it and being like, thank you for the help that you're sending me because we're not alone, right? And then doing, because that enables us to do that healing work in a safe space, right? So we can really heal and we can see, we can embrace our gifts. But we absolutely need to cleanse our space. And there's a lot of limiting fear-based beliefs on that as well. But what you just said, there are some there are some dangerous people out there. That's why we are trying to teach people, okay, you can, in prayer and cleanses and all of this, you can be safe. And as long as we're prayer warriors.
And
Number one.
sometimes, absolutely. We have to be prayer warriors. But here's the thing though. Sometimes what will happen is that we have certain things. It's like the serenity prayer. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change,
Change.
change the things that I can, and know the difference. But so if you don't remember any prayer at all, ever, remember that one to help because sometimes the illusion of the programming is so thick that even we forget that we can pray to God and immediately like that he takes it immediately. But it's that layers and layers of programming sometimes that makes
Yeah.
like a fog.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I do the work that I do. That's why I feel confident. Every time I do a video, when I do the cleanse, I feel like I have brought what I can to the table for my viewer, for the people, for
To
to raise the
help.
vibration of the world. Because sometimes we do all that we can and we just need some little boost, some help, something. And that's what I've been able to come up with to offer to people, not just I love doing tarot. But I have like most of people like you do beautiful love readings and stuff like that. My Venus is in detriment in Virgo. I can't do love tarot readings. I could try, but
I just, you know what I do before? So I pray before I cleanse, and I really ask God, I'm like, use me as your vessel. And it's kind of funny because I literally like I'll get downloads and messages, but I just open up and I'm like, use me as your vessel to whatever guidance you want to come out at this time. And I ask for that. And so I do it. And sometimes I'm like, this is not what I was expecting to come out today, but okay.
oh my gosh, when you start channeling, it's like I can just see the lightness. And that's what I also have to remember too. You give me such a good example because no matter what's going on, when you show up and you open to God and you just give it to God and say, I'm ready to channel, I feel safe. I know you're protecting me no matter what,
That's
Father
right.
God. So here and now, I'll face the world. I'll face the truth of what it is. Give me
Okay.
the messages.
Yeah.
And and that's the authenticity that we have to be in.
Hmm.
And that's the magic, and that's that childlike wonder that you carry. And we all deserve that. We're all inherently worthy of love.
Absolutely.
Universal life force is there for us all the time, all the time. We're so worthy of
Absolutely.
it. And that's why I'm so passionate about always believing in yourself. If you guys could see where I came from Cicero, Illinois. I mean, I've been through so much. I've come so far, and looking back, I was a victim. I was a victim. I was a victim supposedly back then, but now I see it was all meant to be, just so I could be here and recognize when another person, because I'm a spiritual warrior, I'm a prayer warrior, I'm an energy worker. I'm here to help the people, to help the people. And when I was facing those dark times, I didn't even know where this prayer came from. Please, I'll be a vessel for the light, Father God. Just save me. Let me live. Just, I'll be a vessel for you, Father God. I'll be a vessel for you. I didn't even understand what that meant. But
Right.
now we're talking and you're saying, I just open up and these things come through and sometimes I'm like that too. I'm like, I'm hearing this very strange thing. I'm seeing this very strange thing. I gotta say it. But
Right.
back then it was too foggy for me to open up and feel safe. And I remember you shared with me about also your times when you were forced to be always in a dense energy all
Oh,
the time.
I went through spiritual attacks, coven attacks. I was in a very abusive relationship that I did not see, but see, it's not I'm a victim. I'm not a victim.
No.
It was for me to realize why am I deciding? So it's like, is it fear of abandonment? Is it what childhood wounds is it? Is it people pleasing? Because I was a people pleaser. Where are my boundaries? Because we can still be loving individuals, but love ourselves more. Because you have to, I say that you have to love yourself like your life depends on it, because mine did, or else I'd be 6 feet under.
Okay.
So, yeah, no joke.
I
And
believe you.
that
I
and
can see it all in your
there
aura.
was
I can
there
see
was
it.
a curse put on me before I went through all my stuff to get everything taken care of and all my healing work because I was in the fog. I didn't know, and I'm like, why am I so sick? Why am I so sick? Why is my vibration was so low? I was losing my hair, throwing up blood. I was so sick. And I found out that there was the spirit of Iku
Hmm.
was placed on me. And yeah, I would have been 6 feet under. So if people are not aware, I've described this before, that's like the spirit of death.
Right.
It's like the Grim Reaper, basically, for people. So I would not be here right now. And that's because of other people who do not want to do the work, and that is okay. But it was my choice to do my own work and to
Hmm.
realize, okay, I'm taking back my power because when we put it out there, it's outside of us. I'm taking back my power and I'm doing what I can here, and I'm going to live my soul's purpose. And the minute I wake up, I thank God. Thank you for I see and I'm like, oh my gosh, puppy is right here. I'm alive. I'm breathing. Thank you so much. And then before I go to
Same.
bed, like all day long,
Oh
you
my God,
know?
same. Like I have my
Yeah.
cat and I'm like,
Thank
thank you
you.
for my kid. Like, thank you for
Thank
baby
you for
Carrie. So I can see her
everything.
in the morning. Thank you for this creature looking at me and being expectant. And every moment there's something to be grateful for because
There is.
when I first started coming out, Molly, you're so brave to share that. When I first started coming out, I started like getting mixed up in different. I'm a tarot junkie. I love watching tarot readings. I'm so it's my favorite. My tarot mentor, she studies like Lenormand, cartomancy, all different systems. She's very artistic and stuff, and so we
Beautiful.
vibed like that back then, and we're still friends on social media and we talk, but I just love tarot. I just always never felt like I would be good enough, so I overstudied and I overwent. And well, I started speaking up and saying I want to read tarot and saying that to different people who already had a following and were tarot readers and stuff. And some unimaginable things happened, and I was having to be uh every moment praying, every moment praying, because I couldn't understand, like, why am I down? This isn't my normal disposition. Why don't I feel like going outside? What is this? Well, this is not my normal disposition. Why am I feeling like this? And what saved my life? My agua florida, my boira where I could clean myself, my prayers every moment. And sometimes I couldn't even, I was, raised Catholic and I love Mary. I love Mary Magdalene. I love the Virgin Mary, Lourdes. I love all
Right.
the different versions, and I would just start saying a Hail Mary and suddenly I'll feel a little bit lighter.
Of
Or
course.
I would
Yeah.
just start saying, oh my God, what is this? I open my heart, but sometimes it could be, it doesn't have to be like that's heavy duty, okay? The iku, oh my gosh, like the whole ass, it's a curse.
It
It's a
is.
curse.
It's trying to end your life. Yeah, like literally take me out.
That's what I'm saying. But because of, for me personally, I'm just gonna guess, and I'm kind of channeling here, because my baby's dad, my daughter's father, he was trying to kill me. He was evil. He was trying to suck my life force. So when I got away from him, and then these groups or these people, whatever, they started, I don't know what. I can't worry about it, but I was able to notice the vibration. I was able to
Of
notice the
course.
frequency and the
Yeah.
vibration because of the past abusers in the 3D. So then when we're keeping our spiritual home cleansed with our smudges and everything else and doing our best in that way to put one foot in front of the other, they think that they could send something on us, but God prepared us and prepared us, maybe how your ex-husband was. And that's how you were able to be strong enough, you know? No, this is what I
I love
mean.
it. Yeah, no, I
Because
know.
you walked it in real life
I
and they can't
know.
take away from you what you've been
Yeah,
through. They can't take it
exactly.
away from us.
Yeah, I
And
love
I
you.
went
Yeah.
down, I got down, I was in densities. These people were trying to bring me down to these densities of greed, basically, power and greed and blah, blah, blah. This is what
Of
I do.
course.
I've been doing this spiritual work all my whole life. I grew up,
Right.
my grandma had a crystal ball on the table in the kitchen. No one when I was growing up.
Yeah,
And so we walk our paths. Nobody can take from you what is yours because you earned it.
that's right.
But we need sometimes help separating that, What can we
Right.
change? We need that, the serenity, the serenity prayer to
Yeah.
accept the things that we cannot change and know the difference.
And we
Change.
release it with love. We release it and we just forgiveness is huge, and that's something in our prayers too. It's about forgiveness. Not saying that we forget. We don't necessarily forget, and we don't have to go have coffee with these people or tea, or go have dinner. No, but you still forgive because it sets your soul free, right? And you move on. You walk your path. The best thing to do is to work on ourselves and to keep progressing. That's what
Uh,
we want, and we want that for the world. We want
and
it for,
that's what our teachings, that's why I be saying the prayers. I pray for my enemies. I
yep.
pray to resign, I'm praying
We
even the
pray for
prayer for
everyone.
the mediums to make sure that we keep each other also in the highest loving light together.
That's
And
right.
that takes bravery all the time to face our own shadows. But it's safe to face our own shadows when we're not allowing guilt or shame or anything like that, or these negative beliefs that have been put on through us, not only through,
Out of fear and judgment, which,
yeah, but not only through the media and music or whatever, pop art or pop culture, but our family, things that are in our DNA, deep rooted, that from in our ancestors. And so this is why I'm doing this work. This is why I want to help raise the vibration of the collective of our consciousness. I want to help. Did you ever just get advice from somebody like a trusted elder, your mom or your grandma or something, and when they give you this advice, you're like, what? You're changing my world. Like, I never even would have thought of that. What? Thank you so much. Like, you just feel so relieved that somebody helped you see a new perspective, open your heart, open your mind. And I want to share that, Molly. I want to
yeah,
share that. I lost my grandmother. I lost all the strong women who raised me, except for I still have my mother, thank God. And I just lost so many people already, very young in my life, and they would give me those consejos, they would give me that comfort. And I want to share that also. These are the ways that I can
that's right.
use my past experiences to help people.
I love that. I love it.
Thanks,
Yeah,
thanks for
I
having
still
me.
remember. Yeah, I still remember. Those are some of the things, that's so important that you're doing that because people are going to remember your words. That you sharing your experiences and sharing that love and those testimonies or your advice or those pieces of wisdom, someone is going to remember that. Many people will remember that one day or at a point where they're in a very dark place. Because for me, my mom, so the majority of my family has passed. They're with me in spirit, but I remember in some of the most, the darkest times, when people were like my ex or other people were like throwing stuff at me or projecting or saying horrible things because my ex called me the C word, all kinds of terrible, terrible things. Um, and I remember um going to my Boveda, going to pray, and I was talking to God, and I was sitting there and I was quiet. And I could hear my mom's voice, and she said to me, Molly, always as a child too, all growing up, I'm so proud of you. You're beautiful. You have a heart of gold. Don't ever change it. Not saying that I was perfect because we've all been in very dark situations where we've had to go through things, but she still loved me so much that she always wanted to reiterate certain things, or she would tell me, complaint is poverty, Molly. No matter what happens, don't complain, show love, be kind, always, um, it was just certain things that
Yeah,
still were ingrained. It was like she planted these seeds, right? And it just dug them in there. I'd be like, yeah, 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 mom, whatever. Yeah, 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 right? Growing up, teenager, whatever, getting older. I don't want to hear, I don't want to hear. I'm going to tell you, in some of my darkest moments, I could hear her and my grandma and my dad, and they would remind me, and I was like, oh my gosh, and it would make me cry
yeah,
because during that period of time, I was hearing horrible things and I was going through such horrible things that your words that you speak to people, the passion that you have, the love that you're giving, those seeds that you're planting will be taken because people are going to remember in their darkest moments, or even maybe hopefully not their darkest moments, just at any time.
I, and so especially after going into such a hermit mode, um, you really start to think about, well, sometimes you're like, why don't I have anybody? But sometimes, that's actually supposed to happen. And we're supposed to examine that and ask ourselves, what kind of influence do we
Do
want,
we want?
and what is it that we want to cultivate and give to the world? And that's what I wanted to do. I
Right.
wanted to be there, because of those times, those dark times, when I only had mm, my dad's flippant, funny expressions, but they did teach a lesson, though. You know what I mean?
But they
Not
always
not
do.
all money's good money, or
Right.
something
Okay.
like,
The bigger, my dad used to like to say, the bigger they are, the harder they fall.
there
Roll
you
with the
go.
punches. Roll with the
Uh-huh.
punches. Shit or get off the pot. Excuse my language. But
Uh-huh.
they always had these phrases, right?
Yeah,
I
exactly.
liked,
And I can
yeah.
remember it from like even my uncles, and yeah, exactly. And those times when I was growing up, and I would be like, yeah, 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 get out of here. But actually, then I raised my daughter and I lost those people. And me and my daughter were learning the world together, basically only 16 years between us. But I did have my elders and my ancestors and my cousins, and I just was in hermit mode, having to like be a mom at such a young age and learn the world and protect myself from whatever predators, because I was disabled. I'm a disabled adult, and I needed somebody to look after me. But when growing up in a certain demographic in a certain place in the world, in the city, everybody's working, and uh, another mental case isn't ideal. And so the parents kind of put that kind of stuff on the back burner. You go to your dentist every 6 months, you go to your physical every year. We're not going to worry about no head doctor, you know. And I
Right.
was learning that, and learning my neurodivergencies and having to deal with that also growing up. That's neglect when you allow your child to be in a relationship that is basically statutory rape. I told my family, I'm in love with this guy. I was 12. I was in
You're
seventh,
a
eighth
baby.
grade. I'm in love with him. And that was it. That was okay for me to do that. But I also didn't understand my own power, Molly. And I didn't we were born like this. When your mom was telling you those advices, those things, it was because she saw it, she saw what you were going through, and she could pin it with her wisdom. And she would say in that moment, darling, I see you for who you are, and this is what you're going through, and let me put a name to what you're experiencing. But
Yeah.
you're an adolescent and you're living life. And so you're like, yeah, yeah, yeah. But man, those consejos. And that's why it's so important for us to show up for the people that we love in the highest living light. And that's why it's so important to stay connected to God, so that we could use our wisdom and our experiences and
That's
be
right.
aware and vigilant for the people around us also.
That's
And
right.
protect one another with our prayer and with our consejos, our
Huge.
advices.
Cute. Yeah, that's huge. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely.
And
So,
that's why I love tarot readers. That's why I love to watch your videos, because we can lift each other in the highest loving light. But even sometimes people don't even feel worthy to open their heart to feel love, or they're not
right,
even used to it.
right. And then
So,
they project back what they're feeling on the inside. I know. I know.
and how do I know that though? Because I've done it in the past, because I didn't understand what I was facing. And I was so fierce and protective and so passionate, and I was so loyal and so dedicated beyond. It was like mafioso. One person in the family decided something, everybody went along with that one thing, even though it made no sense at all, like at
Yeah.
all. Everybody goes with the head of the family, and then there's like family secrets and masking,
Right.
and
Right.
I had my daughter, and going through all these challenges, navigating the world, not getting taken down by addiction, not giving up, going to the homeless shelter when I needed to, up and leaving, and taking those
Right.
chances, walking one foot in front of the other, even though I didn't know what to do, calling those government places for help, and just even when it seems like nothing was there for me, God was there for me. And when I finally would give it up and resign myself to the universe and feel that feeling of joy that I had when I was little before there was all this abuse put on me. When I was little, I always knew this is all for me. This whole world, this is wonderful. I
When
love
you're
it here.
little, yeah, yeah,
Right?
most
Like
of
when
the
we're young,
time.
we're like, I always walked around and I always had a spiritual gift. And that spiritual gift also comes along with some 3D shortcomings, like some mental challenges, emotional challenges, complex PTSD, things like this. But spiritually, the only way, even to this day, that I get by is through prayer every moment and thinking to myself, what's the next right thing to do? And not allowing myself to follow those
Right,
ideas of anger or jealousy or gossip, and not allowing myself to express in that way or go toward people that are that way,
right, right.
right? So
You're a
yeah.
beautiful light. You are an absolutely gorgeous light that shines so brightly, so passionate. Yeah, no, you are a gift in itself.
I really want to help people. I really want people to I want the right people to find my work. Even if I started it and I got some 12, I do it by zodiac, and I got some 12 video compilations up last year, a year and a half ago or something, at the end of 2003, I think, or 2023. The last half of 2023, I got some videos out and I got views and I was starting to reach people and stuff. But then these organizations started noticing me and I had to really pull back. And I had to really clean up also my social media from others from these different groups, because I'm so interested in all different kinds of metaphysical
Yeah,
things, astrology and tarot and Ifa and everything, Espiritismo. I just
right.
a humanitarian and a healer. So I'm so interested in all the different avenues of that. But also, some people abuse power. It's true.
They
And we need
do.
to really know the difference, and know our own power, know our own boundaries. And I had to pull back. So now I'm starting again. And I'm starting to come out again. I made all my old videos public. They're timeless
Yay!
activations. So if anybody wants to look at those compilations, they're in my playlist. Please go check me out, like and subscribe at Tarot by Lisette. And sometimes I do vlogs and I love to write poetry. You can find all my socials and the links to that,
Awesome.
to my Facebook and my Instagram. That'd be wonderful. I'd love to have you all with me on my journey. I've been documenting my spiritual journey ever since I started a YouTube page back in March of 2023. So, and before that, you could find some of my old work on my Tarot by Lisette Facebook page. You can see some of those old lives that I was talking
Oh
about.
my gosh, I'm gonna check it out. That's so cool.
Oh, thanks a lot. You can see how far I've
Yeah.
come, and I've changed so much. And I met some amazing people, some amazing mentors. I want to do a big shout out to my godmom, Diane Padilla. I want to do a huge shout out to my tarot mentor, Margaret Patterson. I
Oh, I
want to
love
do a huge
that.
shout out to Rich Kiska, my favorite astrologist and my mentor when it comes to this magnetic cleansing and negative thought form relief. Uh, and everyone else, all of you, if I forgot about you, and mostly God, the Most High God.
That's right.
And
Amen.
to you also, Molly, thank you
I
for
love you
having
too.
me.
You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. I'm so glad that you're here. You're able to just shine your light on everyone who's watching, you know? It's wonderful.
I
And
hope that
it's,
you interact with some of my work as well. Okay,
thank
thank you.
you.
I'd be honored. I'm
You're
honored. Thank you for sharing the space and giving me a place, because
welcome.
I'm so sensitive after all of that abuse that I went through and all of my energy work, especially after hermiting for so long.
Yeah.
You know how you get really sensitive?
Sensitive to energy. Yeah, absolutely. Well, and you're a channel. Yeah. An open
Uh,
channel. Yeah. Yeah.
so I didn't feel it was a big deal, and you've just welcomed me in and you
You're
took me
welcome.
in like a warm embrace, Molly.
Oh,
And
you're
I
so
want you to
welcome.
experience the same thing, and I want to give that
You.
to you through my work. So check it out,
Thank
okay?
you. I will. I
Mm.
will. Um, so can you tell people because you took a spiritual bath today. Can you educate people on the spiritual bath? Do you mind? Okay.
Sure. Okay, hold on, I'll get some water.
Yeah,
As a channel, do you not find that you need to drink water constantly? I'm like always thirsty.
I drink
Um,
water a lot. Yeah.
so I put out some water under the full moon in Leo that just passed. So I had that full moon water and I filled up the tub and I just put the full moon water in there and I put a little bit of agua florida. I put a little bit of lavender. I put some cascarilla, that's eggshell powder. I put it right in the water and I just
Cascaria,
sat in it.
everybody, the stuff that is always in my hair.
I'm telling you, you see me with white and people think I have like deodorant on me and it's like cascarilla.
No, yeah, protection.
Uh-huh. It's like it's so useful. And my I'm a daughter of Obatala, so everything white is good for me, you know. So I
Hmm.
love it. But sometimes I do spiritual baths where I will do something akin to like a simmer pot and I'll boil some water. I'll find some fresh flowers, whatever I find outside. If I want to do color coordinating, that's always fun, you know, like for chakras or some specific guardian angel or something. And I will always put some agua florida. I'll put some cascarilla, just like as a general baño, you know. And I'll do some tobacco. I'll put a little
Uh-huh.
tobacco, and I'll just blow it in there, and I say my prayer over it. I'll put it in a 2 liter bottle, you know those bottles, and I leave it in my bathtub, and so then I take a little cup, and I fill the cup up like maybe a quarter of the way or whatever with the baño when I'm done with my shower. So I'll shower, I'll do all my stuff, and I'll have my 2 liter and I'll have my cup and I'll just fill it up part way and I'll fill the rest up with warm water. And at the end of my bath, of my regular shower, I'll take this mixture of the concentrated baño that I made for an odd number of days and I'll fill it up with some warm water and I'll put it on my body and I'll rub it and I'll just wash away all the negativity and I pray up, I tether down, I manage my field always around. I Number one, I pray to God and then I call on my guardian angel, my Indio, my Gitana, my Congo, my China, all the spirits of our eternal Father who would have the greatest good for myself and my loved ones in the highest loving light, those assigned to us and those who take interest in us in the highest loving light. All those entities elevated to such a high grade of perfection that we cannot conceive the beauty of their harmonies. And I call
That's so
them in,
beautiful.
come close to me for protection, for charity, for guidance. Please come close to me and to show me what's the right next thing to do and cleanse me of any brujeria, negativo, chisme, bochinche,
That's right.
celos, envio. Cleanse me of these things. I say my Our Fathers, my Hail Marys. I call on the spirits, angels, archangels. I call on my past lives. I call on my life lessons from this life. I
Okay,
call
yeah.
on the timelines that I haven't yet collapsed. I go into quantum healing and I call on parallel universes. I call on the Pleiadian Light Body Council for all my healing selves. I call on the dragons. I ask them to super saturate the elements that they're in. I love the dragons and I
You're
love the
so
unicorns.
powerful. I love it. Yeah,
I work with the unicorns. I call them for transmutation. They're so beautiful, perfect for helping us with that.
that's
I
right.
call on chakra angels and I use my magnets to activate my chakras. And so we could talk about that some other time. That's a fun
This,
method.
yeah,
Um, and so that's what I do. And then after I call everybody in and I bathe all my loved ones and everybody, my children, I say it like this, my children, my tribe, and my love. And God knows exactly who those people are. Sometimes relationships are confusing to me. I'm not gonna lie. Like there's red flags and maybe I was always told that I was kind of gullible and stuff. And so relationships I had to learn the hard way. But when I say my children, my tribe, and my love, I put that in the hands of my higher self and the Most High God, and then I feel safe to say,
that's right.
bathe them in my loving light and protection as well.
That's right.
And so that's what I do. I call all of them down and I just wash myself with this bath that I made and I air dry, and then I'm all clean and I feel.
You do have a beautiful childlike spirit. You are so much fun.
Isn't
I
that how you
love
take your
it.
baños? Do you do that?
Oh yeah. Well, it's very similar. Very similar. Yeah. Um, I always put holy water in mine. I'm a holy water lover.
Okay.
Um, there is some, but it's different for everyone. But yeah, love, love, love holy water. Um, yeah, I love fresh basil, roses. Basil
I
is
think you have an
beautiful.
Italian spirit. I think
I
you
I
have an
probably
Italian spirit.
do. I probably do have an
I think you
Italian
do because
spirit
the first
around
thing I
me.
keep asking, are you Italian? Are you Italian? And I thought you were from the East Coast. I don't know where I got this idea.
I got, you know what's so funny? Um, so I probably do, and I know I have one that's Scottish, an ancestor that is, because sometimes a Scottish accent will come out. But I have a Native
Are you sure?
American, but today I was channeling and someone must have been from Jersey, and someone even said it on the comments they were from Jersey. Because when I was a little girl too, I would get certain accents that would come out, and I'm like, why am I talking like this? Because I'm from California, like, but my family lived in Brooklyn, so
No
uh,
way, really? So
mhm.
I might be actually seeing one of your ancestors because I really am just, you know, when you're a channel and you just know stuff, and then you find out like that's actually not true, even though you know it's true. Like I know you have an Italian spirit, even if
I
it's not true in the 3D. Like I just took it for granted this whole time
I
because I just know
probably one
it.
of my guides is Italian,
That's
probably.
what I mean. Yeah, this is what I'm
My
saying. It has to be.
grandfather was friends with a long time ago was friends with Bugsy Siegel. So that could be do you remember the mobster?
Uh-huh. With who? Who was it?
Bugsy Siegel or
Oh
Bob
shit,
Se
really? Oh, excuse
yeah.
me. I don't know.
Who
I
I
don't know.
believe is passed. So I
It
would
could be, but
so it
I
could
just really think
be
this.
because I don't they didn't tell me much. There's a lot of secrets in my family. But
Oh,
I did know that. And so I thought that was pretty funny. So it could be that he's somewhere around. I don't know.
uh-huh. So I would love to get together for a misa. Spiritistas everywhere have been getting together over Zoom. So if anybody's interested or if you're interested, maybe we can get together and organize something. Because this is important to help us actually indicate and work with certain spirit guides, help one another kind of hone in and know who we're working with for what certain purposes, you know? So, like, maybe that mobster would be good for negotiations. Or,
Maybe, but
you know,
I just pray for them to ascend, to elevate, and for negotiations. You never
well,
know.
hey, everything's got a good side. Every
Yeah.
part of my life that was dark, I learned something and it helped
Yeah.
me
Well,
really
they're
look at myself.
and they're in spirit now, whatever, when we pray for their progression and elevation, they're in spirit. They leave this ego realm, this realm full of ego, this material realm that is
Oh my
weighing all of
God.
us down, to
Yes.
being free. And so, what was I going to say? Are you a part of any of the spiritist groups? Like, have you found any of them? I think there's
Well,
some in
I just
Texas.
follow some group on Facebook called Espiritismo. But
Okay.
besides that, the only groups that I've ever really gotten together with for a misa would be my ile, my godmother, and all of my family in Chicago. I haven't lived in Chicago in many years. It's probably been about 15 years.
Okay.
So since we got together for one. So are you? Do you have some connection?
No, I do not. I left everyone behind. I haven't talked to any of those people. They were very dark. So
See,
I cut all that out of my life.
and it's so
Um,
confusing. Right? It's so confusing sometimes. Like I have my godmother and I have some beautiful people that they didn't do me wrong, but there's some people we already talked about it before, okay?
yeah, I think it was the greatest gift because I learned what I needed to learn from them, but then I learned so much more um on my own with my guardian angel, with my gypsy, with the Most High God during study for many, many years and being literally broken to be um rebuilt. And yeah, it was different because that really is a cult. And it's a problem because when you like for me personally, like I don't bow to anybody but the Most High God, and I will
Mhm.
not. And so, obviously like back in the day, which this was so many years ago, I can't even think how many years, 2019, 2020, whatever, they expect you to get on the ground to bow to them so they can lift you, right?
Uh,
So
uh,
they bless you, they lift you off the ground.
uh,
You don't bow to any human. Well, that's what God has taught me is we don't bow to anything but him, you know? And I follow like the Ten Commandments and I follow, God's word and everything. So it's just for me, I couldn't be in a place where there was hierarchy and almost like a mafia. It is. You do what we say, and if you don't do it, this is going to happen to you, and you bow to me, and if you don't, then this is going to happen to you. And it's not a good environment because that's not what God wants. We are free, So, yeah,
I'm so
I've
sorry, Molly. My
no,
they always told me God first before anything, anyone. So I can't imagine. I can imagine because I've had my own experiences with like the Jehovah's and with the Catholics and my particular cult programming battle wasn't in the Lukumi religion, whereas yours was. Mine was with these other organizations
right.
that were putting limiting beliefs and ruling with fear.
Yeah,
And
and
that's not
exactly.
okay. It's
It's
just,
not okay. And
no,
trying
it's not.
trying to yeah, so I'm very protective of my space. I don't really get together with anybody. I think eventually I'll get to that point to where I will want to gather with other people and do stuff like that, but I think it's just that was, people can have
It's hard. It's hard.
people can smile.
Espiritismo is different from, that's another thing.
It's very
Like,
different, but still we have to make sure. So like anybody who I have in my space, I make sure that, I pray over it first and ask for guidance to make sure that I can even go and be. And it doesn't matter. Like even if I'm invited to go out dancing, I ask. And yeah,
I'm telling you, the hermit
I'm
phase
very
really gives you
careful.
discernment, right?
Well, it's just for protection, I feel like, too,
Yes.
to
Well, we're
protect your
discerning
energy.
with what
Yeah,
we tell
very
people.
discerning. Yeah.
Yes.
Especially because this world has a lot of healing to do. There are so many people that are not, that still have a lot of work they have to do on themselves. They have to heal from. Because when they come around bright lights or people who are at a high vibrational frequency or who are healing, you just have to be cautious,
I'm
So,
telling
but
you, this is what I mean. Like, we're inevitably going to be like an amalgamation of the five people we're around,
yeah,
and
exactly.
especially as channels, as mediums.
Exactly.
It's very important to keep up those boundaries and keep the space clean and everything. When
Yeah.
it comes to Espiritisma and Mesa Blanca, I think I understand what you mean because I don't necessarily need anybody either else with me. Like I told you the story about my 13 masks, you know?
Right.
And so when I'm saying my prayers and everything and I can channel like that, it's good. And we develop and we learn our particular spirits and exactly how they teach us. Like you have a gypsy, so of course you do tarot. You're
She's my
great at
main,
it.
she actually guided me. Yeah, she's my main spirit guide. And she told me, get your katana cards, get your gypsy cards. And I was like, what is, okay. It took me a long time, but, you
Really?
know,
Did you hear it in your own meditations when you were like just
that
studying on
was,
your own?
that was through, no, that was through a reading a long time ago. And then as I was with her, that's when her name came through in meditation, when she told me her full name. But what did save my life, because, I had trusted people from my old life. Um, and when I was going through when I made Santo, we're very sensitive. It's, Well, there was a white bath supposedly prepared for me, and it was not really a white bath. There was other stuff in there that was poison to my crown chakra. And it took me about 7 days to recover from this poisoning from these old people. And yeah, I got so sick. My son was there. I could not barely get up. I could
That's
barely talk.
blasphemous. That's a holy ceremony. That
It
ceremony happens for you to be crowned as royalty. I'm so sorry. You didn't deserve that.
and
You
this
don't deserve
person
that.
and this
No, you
person,
didn't deserve that.
I know, baby. Thank
I
you.
am so
But
upset to hear that, that they would sully your day, your crowning. That's
it
your day
wasn't
to
the
be
day
on
of
the throne.
it wasn't the day of the crowning. It was during my 1 year though. It was during my 1 year. It was like, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 months in or 5 months in. Still, you're under the protection, right? And
You're yabo. Yeah, of
yeah,
course.
and so I got very sick. But in prayer, God and my guardian angel came to me and said, "This is how you're going to remove what they did." They gave me a bath that I was like, "Are you sure? You want me to put this on my head?" Okay.
And then
Ugh.
that's like walking by faith too, right?
I did it. It saved my life.
I
I felt better like that. I go, whoa. And I pulled those cards, and what came out was the magician, the devil, the seven of swords. And I go, you, and I don't really cuss, but I just wanted to. It was
You're so
betrayal after
sweet. Oh
betrayal,
my God.
betrayal after betrayal after betrayal. I'm like, how can you do it? Like, why? You know?
And it's like that's so complicated too,
I know.
because it's complicated for us in our power and moving forward as well and learning to work in our power. When we come across these people that are supposed to protect and guide us, and I've been very blessed with wonderful mentors and guides and all of my, practices, especially my Christian practices, okay? And and I just when your master turns out to have been actually your enemy and you don't even understand that that was the truth until you become a master yourself. This is deep psychological wounds then. It's the same as having to clear generational curses. You don't
Of
even
course it
realize the
is.
betrayal of the generational
Of
curse
course.
until you get to a place in your
Of
life where
course.
you got to face it. And it makes this complicated way, it makes a complex trauma even, and that is where my work comes in. Where when we have been betrayed and we need to trust and open our hearts again, because only in
Hmm.
our authenticity, only in our essence do our
Right.
manifestations come true. Only
Oh, that's crazy you're saying that. I got a download today regarding that. It's so true. It's like, it processes as a thought, yes, but the most powerful muscle where the manifestations truly come to life is our heart. It's our passions, it's what we're feeling. We have to have an open heart chakra, you know, for those manifestations. That is very important. I think that's another reason why. And that's beautiful what you do because you're helping people do that. A lot of times people have to do that one-on-one with themselves and excuse me, and the Most High.
I had to too,
Yeah,
girl. I
exactly.
mean,
But you're able, like, that's what your goal is, which is so beautiful. And that's why people who don't do the work, they come after light workers or people and their heart.
Nena, I'm telling you, and they'll do it with betrayal. But you know what else, Molly? It took a lot of work in the real world. I've been in intensive outpatient and inpatient programs when it came to limiting beliefs and to my mental health. I have had to
Right.
pursue, face myself down, go to therapy, psychotherapy, and also educate myself when I was going through my schooling for, my prereqs for nursing and my associate's degree. It was centered also a lot on psychology and everything like that because I I had to, if I was going to heal other people, inherently somewhere in me, I knew I had to
You
heal
have to heal
myself.
yourself. Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
so it took a long time. And then when people see that, oh, that I have a lot of energy, because like I have to stim, I have so much energy, I have to move it. I've learned how now to kind of channel it better. I've been practicing like Qigong energy movements and learning how to balance even my physical body. I
Right.
was 267 pounds when my daughter went to the military. I was so big, I was so unhealthy.
Wow.
And it was just like, the spiritual awakening. It all happened all at once. And when I started opening my heart more and more, but it was
That's
only
right.
after I did that work, I saw the
Have to do the
professionals.
work.
Yeah, I saw the professionals. I faced myself. If I had to be on medication to balance myself to go through the next day, I did it. If I had to ask for help and swallow my pride, even though I was afraid, God helped me navigate that. And it's so when people attack me and think you've got so much energy, I mean, I have some blocks when it comes to abundance because every time that I made lots of money, I've manifested large sums of money in the past, and then I was taken advantage of. And
So
so,
God's like, it's not time yet. Clear everything out and then you can manifest your money.
okay. And so there's also like we have these things to face. I had to face those old program beliefs where it was okay to be in these relationships with people that didn't want to marry me or anything like that, and or people who were verbally abusive. One of them was one relationship was physically abusive. I get over that. The next one is verbal. I get over that. The next one is sexual. I get over that.
Wow,
And we're
babe.
just
Yeah.
learning and learning and
It is.
learning.
It's learning how you want to be treated. Why are we accepting this? And what is okay, what is not okay for us? And what does
Mhm.
God want for us? Right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and doing the and walking that path, even though you're facing judgment from old crowds and old
Right.
ways of people who are not changing those ways, they can't understand why I'm making these different moves that I'm doing
Because
or
you're
why I
evolving and
can't
changing.
vibe.
Yeah, you're evolving, you're changing, as we all should. We want to
Okay.
be a better version today than we were yesterday. And the
I
next day, and the next day. We're working on being better versions of ourselves every minute of every day, not going backwards, moving
and
forwards.
and that is why, Molly, nobody can take your destiny from you. As
That's
long
right.
as you're doing that and you're putting, I want everybody to know this. You put one foot in front of the other and you put your trust in God and you keep your energy to yourself, and nobody
Right.
can take what is meant for you.
That's
And
right.
how do I know? Because I walk the path. Okay. Ask Molly. She's walked the path as well, right?
That's right.
So keep on putting one foot in front of the other and know that what is meant for you is for you. Even if you can't understand how it's going to come, let me tell you something. I have gotten so many blessings. They were the exact things that I prayed for, and I couldn't even believe it would be like from a movie or a daydream or something. And then 5 years later, I have that exact same thing. And even though it may be challenging to be in that situation, it's exactly what I prayed for. So if you don't know how it's going to come into fruition, that's okay. You don't need to
You
know.
don't need to
Just
know. Just keep going.
do your best every
Keep
moment.
going.
Walk with faith. That's why this
Keep
podcast name is
going.
so significant because
Thank you.
even if you don't know, even if you're in a dark mood in the morning time when you wake up and you put one foot in front of the other and you just do your best and you be kind and
That's
compassionate with
right.
yourself first, then by the afternoon you could turn it all around, sweetheart. You just keep doing your best. You never know,
That's
right?
right. That's
That's
right.
it.
That's right.
Yeah. And so when people try to, we're doing love and light and we're keeping our energy to ourselves or whatever, but trying to channel our energy into helping the people. And I just thank you for the example and for having me and sharing this. This is a
Thank you,
beautiful
love.
camaraderie. I love it.
I know. I
I
love
think it's
it
great.
too. I love it too. Oh my gosh. Thank you, love. So,
Mhm.
um, so you talked about a spiritual awakening. Can you explain what that was like for you with your spiritual awakening for people?
I went mad.
Carol, I love you. No, you do feel like you're losing your mind.
I've just gone mad over
I
There's multiple. You said it on your channel. I love it when you did that.
Multiple.
When you said it, I was like, yes, girl. I was listening to your video in my kitchen or whatever,
There
and you're
is
like,
not
you
just
all through, you're
one.
like, listen, guys, we go through multiple spiritual awakenings. They don't stop. I'm like, yeah, Molly, that's
It's
it.
so true. It's so true. I was like, oh gosh, why am I feeling this way? And I was like, I'm going through another spiritual awakening, another dark night of the
Okay.
soul. I was like, man, come on. Can you be gentle this time? Like,
Uh, and I think so my spiritual awakenings have happened at certain times and stuff by certain events. There have been big and small ones, you know. But I think that the most significant and important changes have happened over time and
mhm.
through those multiple small walks through the void, as
Yeah,
the weeks where we can't keep up with all the chores. The 3 week, and we just can't. We're facing some other next level dimension shit, and we can't keep up with what's happening here in the real world. That's a
I know.
spiritual awakening. You're walking the void, and you're
Uh-huh.
having trouble
Uh-huh.
balancing real life and 3D and all the other
You're
dimensions
like,
as
am I
well.
really
Well,
here in the 3D right now? Because I don't feel like I'm here.
yeah, exactly. And it's difficult, and we have to be kind and compassionate with ourselves. And the most important thing, well, one of my greatest hints and clues when it comes to like, why do I feel off balance right now? Why am I feeling down? Because our natural state is love and joy. Okay. God wants us to be happy. We're here to
That's right.
create. Like creation, I'm so big on creating. I love artists. It's so
Hmm.
important to make your art. I want to advocate. I want you to pick up a pencil and do
I
stick
make
figure.
my jewelry.
Yeah, jewelry,
I make
crafting.
this. I make
That's it.
all of it. Yeah,
That's it.
I love
There's
it.
so many different arts that is so crucial for us because by creating something new in the world, we're also creating new connections, neural pathways in the brain, presenting something to the world that has never been presented in the way that you have. Even if 3 or 4 people only interact with that piece of art, whatever it is, you're making changes in the world and you're making changes as within, so without. Those changes within, so expressing myself through my spiritual awakening, sometimes I don't even know what I'm going through until I make the art, until I write the poem, and then I read it back in that spirit channeling. This is what you're going through. And then that dark void isn't a depression anymore because the antithesis of depression is expression. So create, express yourself. If you're
Right.
not artistic and like Molly making crafts, beautiful jewelry, or artistic like me writing poetry or making dances, I like dances. Maybe you're artistic in where you're a programmer and you create the most beautiful programs.
That's
Uh,
right.
or coding or a
Exactly.
musician or
A painter,
anything, a cook, a
anything.
chef, anything that you create that is you spending time not only expressing yourself,
Yeah,
fighting off any depression that programming tries to depress you, put you down. When you are feeling like that, you have to express, bring something new into the world, and then it gives you an accurate reflection of who you are in that moment in time, in that here and now. In this here and now, you can look back at yourself in that here and now, and that helps you navigate through your spiritual awakenings. Number one, okay, always express yourself. Take up space and make noise. If you need to stomp, if you need to clap, if you need to scream into a pillow, okay? Whatever it is, you need to shake and stand or whatever. You express yourself in any way that you can to get a hold of your own energy. When it comes to spiritual awakening, there's that. And number two, always question resistance.
Uh-huh.
That's the hard part.
That's right.
That's
That's
it. When it comes,
right.
ooh. And let me tell you, I'm so stubborn.
Hmm.
Can
Yeah.
you hear me? Say something.
I can hear you.
Okay, good.
I'm
Yeah, I'm
listening.
so stubborn. I'm so stubborn that, and I'm like, if I'm feeling myself, it takes me a while because I'm so stubborn to see the resistance.
What is your
But
sign? Your
I'm
stuff.
a Libra sun,
Oh, okay. Okay.
a Virgo moon,
Hmm.
Mars, and Venus,
Okay.
and a Leo rising.
Hmm.
What about you?
I'm a Taurus. I'm on right on the cusp of Aries, so April 23rd.
No
So
shit.
I'm very I my mom was in Aries. She was a firecracker, man. She was feisty. My dad was a Cancer. He was more emotional, but he was very
Uh,
and I have Cancer in my chart as well, and I have Leo. But I think the Taurus keeps me chill, very chill. I have Libra too.
uh,
Keeps me chill. But then there's that Aries in there, that fire that comes
but
out
that's
too.
what gets you up every day to do this light work that you do. You
Yeah,
without fail put a video out every day, and then you started a new podcast, and you have all these like items that you sell and
my
everything.
business.
So that
Thank
Aries
you.
like has you going. You're
Uh,
like at the forefront. And that's my
and
north
I
node.
love it though. I
Taurus
love
is
it.
my north node.
Is it? Yeah.
So when I'm doing my best,
Miss
I'm doing
Empress.
Taurus stuff. But
Yeah.
I gotta fight to stay there, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I know. But I think it's a beautiful thing when you get through all this and you walk your journey like you're doing, like we're all doing. That's what I love about this podcast. It's like all of you guys are coming in, and sharing these incredible stories, and we're chatting about our stories. And But it's like, and then there's this bright light that's just shining through you, and the passion that you have, and the love you have for others. And like, that's the reflection that we see, because you saying those kind things, it's really already inside of you. So what you're seeing in me is you. It's you. And what I'm seeing, yeah, I mean, we're just reflecting back.
I'm able to recognize your love and compassion for the world because I've had to learn love and compassion for myself.
Yeah.
I recognize that you have also learned the same thing, and so we could share it. It's so
Yeah.
perfect. I love it.
I love it too. I love it
Mhm.
too.
So we're together and we're ourselves, and there's
Yeah.
healthy ways and healthy boundaries that we can have as spiritual practitioners in this way with consent.
Right.
Okay. And
Exactly.
anybody who would want to tell you that they could sell you some perfect way through your spiritual awakening and they can,
Cannot.
that's a grifter, sweetheart.
Yeah,
Okay.
that cannot. It's not perfect and it's hard. It is so
Yeah.
hard. It's not going to be like this. You go and you get a healing or a cleansing. No, you get taught how to do it. You get taught, and it takes consistency and deliberation. It takes daily practice of prayer, cleanses, healing work, due diligence,
Uh-huh.
and protection. So anybody who comes in and says, I can do this for you and it's going to happen on this day and da 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 da. No, I'm sorry.
Okay.
No.
Sometimes like a crazy prediction comes through specifically for you when you're with your private
Thank
practitioner
you.
in
Every
a
so often,
personal
something
reading.
something will come through
Yeah.
randomly. Yeah, like not randomly. Nothing is random, but like in a particular time. But that is, I think, what they were trying to say. Now I'm channeling. They're coming through.
Come on,
Man.
girl. Go on, girl. Get it, girl.
I'm just like something will come through for a certain day or time if that is supposed to come through. But that is not something that is common that will just come through, you know?
Yeah.
Like when I did one of my misas long, long time ago, and I've told this story, and it's like, you need to be cautious of this because this is going to happen to you in your future. This is on your journey. What are you talking about? How is this going to happen for me on my journey? 5 years later, it happened on my journey. And I was like,
Uh-huh.
I didn't know, like you just said prior, if you don't know how you're going to get there, that's okay. Keep one foot in front of the other. But I had no clue. That was a prediction that came through, but there was no time on it. Why? Because it was truly up to me and the Most High. Like, what it was I going to do on this journey? I had free will to go this way, this way,
Uh-huh.
right?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
also that we got to get to a place where we can actually see ourselves like that whole permission, like we give ourselves permission to see that playing out for us, even if we can't see
Exactly.
how it happens.
Right. Exactly.
Uh-huh.
We have to see it. We have to believe it and know it because I didn't see it until it got to a point where I was like, wait, I remember. Okay, I'm gonna do it. I see it. I can do this. So it's like also us giving ourselves the permission
Uh-huh.
of doing it. like you just said. Yeah.
And also one thing that also I have had in the past too, like pride. Okay, I'm a little hard-headed sometimes. And sometimes I need help. I everybody need people need people, okay?
Yeah.
So sometimes we need help from other practitioners if we can't, like an astrologer. Like you, when you talk to a professional astrologer, your chart is very unique to you. Very
Mhm.
unique. You're so special. Every single person has a north node.
Yeah.
Every single person has a special magical talents and ability that they
That's
can
right.
bring to this world. And whether you get there through tarot or through the Catholic Church, as long as you're not letting them, you know, control you or tell you that you're something bad when you're wonderful and perfect. As long as
Right.
you are doing your best, you're going to go towards your North Node, but sometimes we don't know how to get there and we're doing our best as it is. And then we
One
need
foot in
one.
front of the other. One
And
foot in
then
front of
you
being the
contact
best version.
your distance Reiki master over the internet and you have the face your pride and say, hey, can you help me out? Or you call for a personal reading to your favorite tarot reader or something like that, or you go to your professional and your mental health
And listen
professional.
to the guidance that comes out because it's one thing
Yeah.
to get a reading, but there's going to be guidance usually that's going to come out. And if people listen, then they can take that guidance and utilize it for their highest and greatest good. It may not be the norm, but it's going to be guidance that's been coming through from the divine, because it's for us to open up our minds and expand outside the box to help us reach that north node to progress
Uh-huh.
positively.
And
Yeah, yeah.
to see a way that we're having trouble seeing. And otherwise, if we're that's
Exactly.
resistance. Like if you're having resistance to reach out for help, or like I was having resistance because I was allowing fear, not fear, but I was just exhausted from all of the attacks and having to clean it up. I was just exhausted and disappointed.
Yeah,
Honestly, I was
yeah.
disappointed with
It is
humankind that
disappointing.
I would show my heart, that I would show, hey, I'm here as a spiritual teacher, mentor, healer. Let's collaborate, or and then these people just only wanted to get their grubby hands on it. And that was exhausting. Being disappointed in people in the spiritual community and then having to clean all that up and gain that sense of being able to connect to that passion and that heart space and everything. And it really, I closed down and I had to also face that pride of,
Right.
God, I know that happened to teach me a lesson. I know there's something good out there. The world
Of
is
course.
good.
Yeah, of
Somebody
course.
good
Yeah.
is there. I
Yeah.
can say my story again. I can do that, but with the intention of long-term commitment and question the resistance, because some people will go to a tarot reader and they'll be like, is my boyfriend cheating and how can I get him to stop?
No, we
Like,
don't do that.
okay, some people want like quick fixes, stuff like that, that temporary
We're
band-aids.
giving
That's
our
not gonna
power
help.
away. When we do that, we're giving our power away. It's about how do we work on us? How do we make the positive progression within us to shift what's going on the outside? Right?
Uh-huh.
Right.
And
So
sometimes it takes having to accept that
I
that's not
know.
the person. Like you want a person that doesn't cheat on you, darling, then first of all, you have to become the person that doesn't accept cheating.
Exactly what you just said right there, right there. Because I remember back in the day when I first was going through all my stuff, I went to my old godmother and I was like trying to talk to her about my ex-husband. I was like, because he knew I was there. He would go with me and I'm like, I'm worried about this and he's treating me like this and all this. She goes, stop. I don't want to hear about him. It's just like, this is not about him. You're here for you. This is about you. How are we going to fix you and what's going on in your life? Right. And because she's like, this is not, if he wants to sit down and get a reading and do what he needs to do, then fine. But we're not going to talk about him. Now, anything that comes out could come out. She goes, but this is about you, Molly, and your positive progress. And I was like, yeah. And man, It was about what work can I do on
Okay, but
myself.
it's still hard to hear that
It
because
is
it's like this
hard.
mother effer.
Yeah, but she's like, I'm not gonna address it. That no. She's like, if it
Because
comes
if it's
out,
not worth it to him, if it's not worth it to him, that my godmother, she's not gonna talk to me about some
what did
man
she
that,
say to me? I'm not
yeah,
a love counselor. That's what she said one time. I'm not a love counselor. I'm here to help you.
okay, right? And even a love counselor nowadays, psychology and everything has come so far where even a therapist or something, a family therapist would also say, well, first of all, you've got to work on yourself if you want
Work
this
on
relationship.
yourself. Exactly.
Yeah.
And if that relationship is meant for you, then it will stay in your vicinity, but you're going to evolve, work on you, what you become that person who does not tolerate cheating. Now, if that person then is going to heal, right, energetically from being around you or see the shift and want to heal, then they're not going to cheat. Or they're going to be
Or
removed.
yeah, and even if it's not something so bad as cheating or something like it's not such a betrayal, but some discrepancy in the relationship, all the time, even if the two of you, okay, we're always healing, like you said, constant dark nights, all the time, always facing resistance. But the conscious choice, I always say this,
Right.
choosing a partner, choosing to be in love with someone is going to require you to forgive that person over and over and over again and make a conscious choice to stay on the frequency where you and your morals and your principles align and to make the
Exactly.
conscious choice to every day be working to make that frequency, you make your life the frequency that you want it with that partner and you guys can stay in the same frequency. So as you
Exactly.
learn, as you know, you're partners with each other in life. And so then that's a unit. The marriage is one unit, but then you also have the responsibility of yourself. And if you can keep that in line with one another and live your life alongside somebody, then you can face challenges together. You don't need to be a completely healed person and have another completely healed person
Right.
and but it's the
No,
choice.
because you're going to be on the journey. You're constantly healing and evolving.
It's just a
As we
daily
should
choice
be.
to find
Yeah,
somebody that find somebody that will work with you, that you're working with, that you can love, and that it's worth the risk of them hurting you. And it's
exactly.
worth the risk because you grow from that. Just like we face our own resistances, our relationships are going to give us resistances, right? So I have a Venus, a Virgo Venus, and I have some terribly, terrible, 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 terrible failed relationships. So that's how I can talk on it. And I've been single for a very long time now. So, single celibate in my own energy reflecting all these years, reflecting, getting immersed in different types of art, reading different love stories, true stories, and just exposing myself to different ways, different relationships, the different ways, different cultures, and how people
Exactly.
put a life together for themselves that they're comfortable with. We all have the option to do
That's right.
that. We
Right.
don't have to stay with one sort of person and one sort of dynamic. The right thing is going to come to you when you're balanced.
That's
But
right.
yeah, right?
That's aligned um with your life. So if like we don't want somebody who's gonna, abuse us, then we that's not aligned with us, right? Or cheating or constant yelling or fighting or conflict. So if that's not aligned, so when we come into a relationship, we find somebody who also that's not their preference.
Exactly. Or what happened to me? I left one relationship, like I told you, where one was physically abusive, and then I later in life come to one that's emotionally abusive.
Right.
So we're negligent, another sort of abuse. And then I ask myself, and that I have to face myself in the mirror and say, why did I attract this? Why did I allow myself
Thank
into
you. Absolutely.
and
100%. Thank you.
yeah, and now
That's
I have to
right.
change my whole life again, and I have to be brave. And that's when you really learn that there are consequences to actions.
There's always cause and effect. Yep.
All
There's
right,
always,
girl.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
eventually, sometimes it takes us so many lessons to learn that hermit mode is where it's at till you're able to open up.
And I think it's because we're such lovers. It's like we just want to love. It's that Venusian. We
Yeah,
really
well,
do,
okay,
but
but we
at the
cannot
same
throw our pearls before swine, Molly. No more,
exactly.
no
That's what I'm
more.
saying. That's what I'm saying. That's why Hermit is so powerful
Hmm.
because you learn to sit with your own energy and like love on yourself the way that maybe previously we were giving that love so much and not get receiving it back. So now it's like, oh my gosh, you're right. We don't throw our pearls, but you're right. That's absolutely correct. We keep our pearls. Thank you so much. And
Uh-huh.
we allow God to love on us and we just love what we're doing and we create. We are these beautiful creators and we pour that love there. And
Uh-huh.
we choose where we want to give that love. Doesn't mean energetically, like energetically, I'm always praying for everyone and I'm always sending out love. But no, we don't throw our pearls before swine. Definitely not.
Yes, no, and now like every time I have to face because I when I was getting these, like I told you, I came out in 2023 with my YouTube channel, and um I came up against these forces, these people with their forces or whatever. They're I'm telling you, all different, the whole gambit. People in this religion and that religion and moon magic and jars and whatever.
Oh, girl.
Spirit shows me. They take your hair. I mean, spirit shows me so clearly, and it makes me sad when I see these people because I'm like, I wasn't even expecting that from you, and it was
You're like,
unnecessary.
really? Like, I wasn't going to see that. Because, and the minute, what people don't understand too is the minute that, especially when you're crowned, but
Mhm.
the minute somebody speaks your name, our spirits, our guides, our angels hear it and they go. And
Or even if they think about it with bad intention, okay?
they can go and then they bring back messages and they're
Go,
on it.
okay, and even sometimes I'm like, oh, why did I have to see this? Oh, and it breaks my heart. And then I had to look at myself in the mirror and say, Carol, you attracted this. This is a lesson for you. And I had to eventually learn how to be comfortable in myself again and start making videos again and show people that what I stood for, I really meant it. I really meant this is who I am.
I
I'm
love
going to
it.
stand up for the right thing and open my heart and then now integrate back into the world from Hermit. Now integrate what I've learned. But I had to even face myself and face my own shadows
Of course.
and now, because
Huge.
it even came to me like these people who are trying to take my light, my loving light gift or something, sabotage it or put me down, knock me down a peg or something like this. Um, if I go back now publicly and I do my videos, even though I always say, if you would enter into this exchange with me for the highest loving light, I always make that a prerequisite for because I'm doing energy work on the person.
Yeah,
And it's very important to make sure that is distinguished. But some people try to ignore it. And, I had to clean that up. And I now am coming back and I even face the shadow. Like now I have to teach my enemies how to walk in the light. And I
of
have to
course.
forgive them
Yeah, of
in order
course.
for me to keep going and let it go. And I have to keep on walking in the light, even though they tried to do this horrible thing to me. And that in itself
Right.
is a sort of elevation, having to shed
Of
the
course.
darkness and let
Jesus
it
says,
go.
forgive our enemies, pray for those that they persecute. We
Yeah,
forgive
so there's a
and
prayer
we
in
teach
my,
them and we show them. Yeah.
like, this is the book that I pray from, okay?
Alan Kardec.
Uh-huh.
Collection of
And
yours is so old. Mine's old too.
we
Yours.
have it for long. And there's a prayer for the enemies in here.
Yeah.
And sometimes when I'm saying my prayers and my voda, and I want to skip that one, and no, my spirits tell me,
No.
go and read it, go and read
Say the
it.
prayer. We forgive our enemies. Yeah,
And sometimes I'll
forgiveness
be
for our
reading it like,
persecutors.
it's
Forgive.
so hard because sometimes I'll be reading it like,
And then it's like, I ask for forgiveness from all my enemies for something I could have done in this life, a past life, and then I'm like, well, any realm for, like, shoot,
yeah.
forgive me. For you to, because sometimes we don't remember or we don't know, But in our prayers, it's like, ask for forgiveness from your enemies, forgive them. And it's like, that is so humbling. It's because at first you're like, why should I ask?
Oh,
Because it is a part of our journey for elevation, for
okay. Also for
humility
balance.
and balance. Yeah. Oh gosh. Yeah. Oh, I know.
But you know what? You're a warrior spirit. Okay, you're a warrior woman, and now you told me about all this Aries in your chart. Okay, so I'm just saying that divine dark, divine feminine is there for us. Okay, we are the creators, and we are the warriors, and we create the vibe, and we are everything. So yeah. So when spirit is coming through, like forgive your enemies, of course that goddess within us is like,
We have to forgive. It's huge. It's huge. I had to learn that to hold on
and
to
so it
that.
helps to balance. It helps to balance the feminine, the divine feminine Lilith energy with what we're doing here as light workers.
Yeah, because that is poison for the soul, that resentment. Why? Why give my energy to any of that? That's negative spiritual energy. That no, I don't need it. It doesn't bring me joy to think that way. Yeah, yeah, exactly.
But Molly, wouldn't you say that sometimes you have to feel anger about a certain thing in order to
Oh,
then first feel sadness and then
of
anger? Like when
course.
you're in such a down density,
Of
you gotta
course.
feel sadness, then anger, and you have
Of
to
course.
find a way to come
Yeah,
out of that in their stages,
of
right?
course.
And
Yeah,
so forgiving our enemies is like
that's
really having.
that. You're right. You're right. And I think people need to get through those stages first. So like when I was on the ground, like praying, crying, and everything was being, I was recovering from being sexually assaulted from my ex. I'll say it like that. Stealing, taking everything, um, dying, being sick, being betrayed. I went through times of where I was angry. I was sad. I was heartbroken. I was just confused. I was disappointed. We go through all of this and it was like, but then you go through, it's like, okay, you're going to feel this feeling, process it. Then you're going to shift to this feeling, process it. Then now you're going to feel this feeling, process it. But as you do that, you get to a point where, yes, you find with the light of the Holy Spirit, when you allow that and you allow God to work through you, He really truly does give you a new heart because I was very hurt, but you have to do the steps, the work to get to that point to be able to say, okay, you know what? I forgive you. I don't care. I don't care.
Uh-huh.
It's fine. Why? I don't even want you in my mind or in my vicinity. I forgive you with love, with grace. Just phew, and you go that way. But it does. It takes a long time and it takes a lot of kin. That's why we say you made a really valid point. If anybody says, "Oh, I can fix you like this," no, you can't. I don't care who the heck you're talking to. It takes work. It takes a lot of work
And
to get
sometimes it
to.
takes, for you to reach out for help or to interact with some people. Like
Exactly.
with my work,
Cannot do it
maybe I'm
alone. Yeah.
like with my work, maybe only four people are looking at that video. But those four people are interacting and they're using self-healing. If you interact with the work,
Right.
then it's there for you for a self-healing and a release. I'm there guiding you through it, helping you, giving you that with my magic. And then hopefully, like you have what 20,000 followers or something, right? So you go through my one cleansing and then I activate these frequencies in your aura and you do a video and now you're sharing that frequency with every single person that's seeing that. And that's a huge blessing for me. So sometimes I'm like, not going to worry about views or nothing like that because the right people are going to get the activations. The right people are going to feel those higher light frequencies. So like, I wasn't comfortable getting back into misas or going back into a ile or something.
Oh
And so
yeah.
I created the system and I make the videos and hopefully
Yeah.
I can help people in that way, you
Right.
know?
Right.
But
Yeah, that's what it's, the right people will come. God will lead the right people always. We are truly all connected, and I think there is no division. People think that we're separate. We're really not. And if people would understand that we all come from the same source, that we truly are all connected, then we would treat each other better, I feel like, as well. So, I mean, we were brought together, which I love. I love every single one of you that has come on or that's on the channel, that has come on the podcast. Beautiful, powerful spirits, every single one of you. And you're amazing. I want more people to find out your channel and watch you because that's
thanks.
magnificent what you're doing.
Every single person must create something, even if it's just always create, it took me a long time because when we're going through those things, like how you said you felt anger and you felt
Oh, of
disappointed
course.
and you
Yeah.
even told me like I when I think of Molly, I think of your beautiful smile. So when you told me the other weekend that you couldn't even smile for a
I
time,
couldn't smile. I
that
forgot.
those muscles were not even activated on your face anymore.
Right.
I I thought to myself, this woman understands what it is, and I know that we're going to be able to have this conversation. What it is to show up
That's right.
every day, show up every day, keep putting our faith in God every day, and eventually you put in the time, you open your heart, you put it in God's hands every moment,
Amen. That's
every
right.
time. Because when you're living in a place where you can't even smile, even
I
to your own
couldn't.
child or to a bird outside or something,
It hurt.
that's
My cheeks would shake when I started learning how to smile again. It was like the muscles in my face had to be retrained so it would shake.
uh,
Um, Now I smile all the time. So now, yeah, but that's by the grace of God for sure.
so
So,
yeah, and then I'm
yeah,
telling you, yeah, because you have to show up every day for yourself. Because everybody else would look at me when I was in these situations, these dark situations where I was even confused, why was I in them? What was I doing wrong? Why did I deserve it? How can I also be there for the people like my kids who are also dealing with whatever I was dealing with, or you know,
right,
and there were people judging me all over the place. That
right.
you know, and really facing myself. This is my actual place in the world. Like, I'm actually in a place where I'm accepting this. That is hard. And that's when living in the here and now is so important. Giving it up to God and being able to live in the moment where the only thing that exists is your beingness and the moment and the thing that you're enthralled in, and that if it's dishes, if it's if it's cooking, if it's folding laundry, if it's a walk in the here and now. If you can't focus on the here and now some way, just focus on your feet and focus on being in
Right.
your body. Be here now, because the
Present.
world will put so many judgments on you besides the ones you put on yourself.
That's
So
right.
being here now is also definitely, when it comes to spiritual dark nights or awakenings, walking, navigating that void. Create art. Expression is the antithesis of depression. Be here now, okay? And reach out. Like, hermit mode is one thing, but complete isolation is
It's
dangerous.
another, yeah.
Yeah.
Right, because
So,
that's another thing. I'm so glad you said that, Carol, because they're not alone. They're not alone on this journey. It's one thing to make a choice to be in hermit and to focus on the self, but it's important to get out too. It's important to reach out. It's to know that you are not alone. Everyone is not alone on this spiritual journey. There are good people.
okay. All right. Yeah, and
Yeah,
what like we integrate our particular personal lessons, and we have grace for ourselves, and then we also give grace to other people.
right.
And then all of a sudden I'm in a world where I hear this beautiful story about who was it that went on the beach and saw their whole team, their whole
Right.
So
Right.
no, we're not alone. And this is what I told, like I have a friend in Germany and I said, I'm gonna have a party. And it's gonna be my santos, my egun, my muertos, my ancestors. It's gonna be a party, just me and them and my son and the cat. But it feels like a full house.
It is a full house. It's a
Yes.
beautiful house, a family. I love it.
So
I
we're
love
not
it.
alone, but in the 3D, we also need to reach out to one another and connect. So it's a beautiful balance, but we got this,
Yeah,
right?
it is. It
Mm-hmm.
is. And I feel I love that because we're all connecting with each other. I know that we're busy, or we're creating or we're doing something, but it's always nice to know that we can reach out to each other and that I want to put together like a party on the beach at some point. That's what I'm praying for. I would
Oh,
love for all of us just to come together. Like that would be so amazing.
okay, we could bring some watermelons to the ocean, huh? Something nice like that, something
Yeah.
beautiful.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that would be wonderful. I
Bring
would
some
love it.
beautiful watermelon. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe some flowers too.
For your
I think
mother,
some
Yemaya. Hi.
yeah.
I
Some
think the name of
sweetness.
your show is so beautiful, your channel, Crossroads, because of the
Thank you.
legua. And today is Monday. I'm so honored. And then
Thank
there's
you.
this huge, I think it's today the eclipse.
Is there an eclipse today?
I shared it. I think I shared something on my Facebook that said there was a lunar eclipse today, girl.
I think there might be. I don't know. Lunar
Uh-huh. Let me
eclipse.
see. Let's look it up. Let's look it up. Mhm.
March 2025. March.
March 10th, 2025. The total lunar eclipse in Virgo is amplifying a quantum reset, dissolving old timelines and anchoring the next evolutionarily sequence in our cellular blueprint.
Nice. Nice.
Mhm.
That's what we want.
Yeah, reality is shifting beneath our feet. Surrender to the unknown, trusting that what is unfolding in perfect alignment is in perfect alignment with your soul's highest evolution. I'm a little nervous, but that's today, March 10th. It's a Monday for like what? There's this Schumann resonance, blackout, quantum reset. What? This is magical. I love this time for us. I love this day.
Thank
Thank you so
you.
much. This is beautiful.
Thank you.
Hey.
Okay. So if you could give anybody any tips or advice that they could leave here with, what would be something very important that would be beneficial for everybody?
Take yourself seriously, okay? If nobody else around you can receive when you're trying to communicate your spiritual journey here, we're all changing and evolving. Change is constant. So please be kind and compassionate with yourself. Give yourself grace. Kindness is the highest form of wisdom. First and foremost, learn to be kind with yourself. And that is then going to emanate out of you and attract other kind, loving souls to
That's
you.
right.
So if the people in your existence right now, or if you don't have any people in your existence to be kind and generous and loving and to give you grace and to be compassionate with you, okay? Do that for yourself. And if you're having trouble, reach out and empower yourself. Please always, always recognize when a situation is against your own improvement and be kind and compassionate and loving enough with yourself to separate you from anything that is disempowering you. Okay? God has got your back, your angels, your team. And there are people like us and in the professional realm of doctors and everything else, holistic healers, whatever you're called to, Reiki healers, astrology, tarot, and your spiritual journey, your energetic journey. Give yourself that love. that you may have been denied. That's what I want to say. I want you to be kind and graceful, and I want you to reach out and empower yourself no matter what. I would like to say that, Molly.
That
Thank you
is
for the opportunity.
amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was so amazing. Thank you so much. I love that. Oh, Carol. Okay, Carol, share your YouTube channel one more time with everyone before we say goodbye, please and thank you.
Oh, sure. My channel is called Tarot by Lisette.
All right, everybody, please check her out. Thank you for
Yeah.
joining us. This has been fantastic. Beautiful
Let's
spirit.
let's post it in the description of the video. That
I
would
sure
help.
will. Yes.
Thanks, guys.
I'm
Thanks,
gonna put it,
everyone.
I'm gonna put it right on your description right in front of you. So as people are watching, they're gonna see Tarot by Lisette. So,
Oh,
and I'll
what
pin
for
it
March?
too.
I have I think I have 10 videos out or 8 videos out for March. I still have to finish the complete zodiac, but I got up to Scorpio, I think. So Sagittarius coming out soon. Thanks, you guys.
Awesome.
Thank you.
All right, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Carol Garcia, we
Bye,
love
guys.
you. And we always pray that you're always, always surrounded by the Most High God's love, protection, and blessings. Bye, guys. Bye, Carol.
Bye,
Thank you.
Molly. I love
Love
you, girl.
you.
Bye.
Many blessings.